Okay, you're on.
Okay, motion to go back into,
We had a motion and a second right here.
okay, roll call vote, and to go back in open session.
It was Shay and Lawrence.
Yes.
Victor,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Shay,
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Yes. Okay, then we have, agenda item regarding legal counsel appointment.
Mr. Chairman, the board having discussed, I move that in the matter of Lutzo versus Gasser,
Let's flip that around.
Gasso versus Lutzo in
The road
his official capacity, the road district, that separate attorney, Philip Prosnitz, be retained at the amount of no more than $250 per hour.
I second it.
Roll call.
Discussion.
Oh, discussion, yeah.
I do want to discuss why we came to this. First of all, there was a case where the road district is suing the supervisor in some action because of the action he took in his capacity as treasurer of the road district. And as such, because the action was taken in his capacity as treasurer of the road district, the public entity is then required to, responsible for payment of his defense. And so there was multiple consideration and multiple, a long list of attorneys that were considered, or presented for consideration. There was discussion about each one of them, and the prices and the capabilities and competence of them. And it was decided unanimously that, Supervisor Letzow had chosen this attorney. And did I address? I think I addressed. Oh, and as far as bidding, I know that was a question that was brought up. Bidding for contracts over $20,000, professional services are actually exempt from that. And legal counsel is considered a professional service. So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
We did have contact with Torma, which is the Townships of Illinois insurance agency. We haven't got a response yet from them, and if in lieu of that, if we don't get one, or even if we do, if we can contract locally here with an attorney who's familiar with our court system, I think that would be better. But we did go through and ask our insurance agency.
So it may be what I think to tag on that the legal expenses may actually be covered by insurance.
Yes.
We just haven't heard that yet. So
Yes, which would be great.
Yeah.
And it should be fast.
Yes, roll call.
Victor,
yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Shay,
Yes.
Bledsoe.
Abstain. Okay, motion passes. Do we have any other business before the board?
We can discuss items that are not on the agenda, correct? There were a couple of things that I wanted to address. I know that public entities and boards don't really have an obligation to respond to public comment. I mean, the public has a right to address the board. And it's not often that, we typically engage because it can make our meetings last like much longer than they already do. But there are a couple of things I wanted to address. There was some discussion about wanting the board to put an end to the legal battle between the road district and the local 150 union. And I just wanted to state and restate, because I've stated it many times, we do not have the power to do that. We are a separate entity. We cannot compel Andrew Gosser to do anything. So, and if we could, that would be very different. And I also want to take the moment to say that there were some comments about some receipts from 2012 or something that were scanned. I couldn't follow all of it, but I want to remind that that person that this board was not actually, this entire board was not actually a part of any of that, first of all. And then lastly, you know, a lot of the problems that are going on right now between the road district and along the lines of us, my comment about us being unable to compel any highway commissioner to do anything as a board. I think that it's about time, it's past due, for us to revisit my resolution, which would have allowed us as a board to create a binding voters referendum to abolish the road district so that the person in charge of our roads can be a township employee who reports to this township board, because half of the problems that we're going through right now would not be happening if that were the case. So I will be bringing that resolution forward again.
I believe one person
No,
is just
you're out of order.
can change.
Sir, you're out of
one
order.
person For you guys.
Next,
The only people.
Trustee
on this
Wilson?
board.
Yes, yes, I do have something I'd like to add. Since taking office, Andrew Gasser has cost the road district well over $500,000 and growing on numerous lawsuits without merit, and has lost repeatedly trying to invalidate Union 150. He has been disruptive, refusing to give the clerk records, work with the rest of the elected officials on this board. He doesn't show for meetings. He is rarely at the township and submits bills without proper documentation. He hired an employee, Ryan Provenzano, who was fired and banned from the township building. Now we have the salt issue with not being bid. And also, when it came to the salt, he did not do anything for months to rectify it. And now we're in this crisis months later. We need a new highway commissioner to bring back the integrity of the Algonquin Township. I'm not ready to give up on the Algonquin Township. I am calling for Andrew Gasser's resignation.
Any other comments?
Well, I was going to do.
Go ahead, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I
Well,
got some.
I have spent more than 30 years in elected government positions. I've never seen anything even close to the incompetence, either intentional or not, that's been shown to us in this thing, in this personality. It's not the position, it is the personality that's a problem. And I think we missed one other thing, and that is we're not giving enough weight to the fact that he was helped into this position with a lot of insinuation that turned out to be unfounded, and by State Representative McSweeney, who is constantly coming up with all kinds of laws and stuff for McHenry County and for the township, and he is not all of McHenry County. He's not all of Algonquin Township. He doesn't live in McHenry County or Algonquin Township. And yet he was a very key member in getting the person that's just shown such poor judgment. I hope it's not intentional. And I'd say he has not gotten his fair share of criticism for that. Thank you.
Folks, we did a Saturday meeting, I feel, so that we can discuss the upcoming budget. And if nobody wants to have the meeting, if nobody else feels that I want some input on the next year's budget, things that I want to put in there that I'd like to see us move forward with. So if we can't come up with a date, I want to then meet with Chuck, and however we prepare the budget, I want to be a part of that process. So we can look at line items and things that we want to do and things that we may not want to do.
There's two solutions to that.
Yeah.
Okay. In the past, trustee Lawrence met with us. We have
Separate, right?
separately
Yeah.
meeting, and we can do that. We can each have separate meetings with myself and our staff and go through it. Or,
I was looking to open it up to the public.
okay, or what we could do is prior to next month's meeting, have a meeting at 6 o'clock to,
Okay.
because
I'm definitely amenable.
we've talked to the clerk, and the clerk has personal items.
Right.
She has to tend to on Saturday.
No problem. I'm in favor of that.
So if you want me to schedule something, if that works for everybody, we can make an hour before the next meeting, a budget discussion meeting. That way the public can have more of a chance to,
Sure.
see how sausage is made instead of,
Okay, well, I'll call for that meeting at
Okay.
6 o'clock,
okay.
prior to the next board meeting.
Okay.
All right, my comments, boy, when Andrew does something good, I tell him. The idea that he had about the big salt dome and sharing salt with other municipalities and the McHenry County government. And so I know he was very zealous about trying to accomplish that. The maintenance on the equipment here has been top notch. Everything out there is ship-shape, the place is really clean, and I tell him that. However, I understand that there is a lot of stress for Andrew, and he doesn't need to be here by law. He's not required to be here. He's not a member of the board. He is more than welcome, and I ask him every month to please come to the meeting, just so you know. Bob was at all the meetings. He didn't, wasn't required, but he was at the meeting, so that if there was a question about what truck was that tire put on, or how many blinds did you guys use, we could ask them, and that's been lacking this year. So if Andrew is happy in Mississippi, I want him to be happy, and if that's what it takes, and if he would be willing to help us to find an acceptable replacement, then I would support the other trustees in asking Andrew to step down. That's it. We're done.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
We have,